Hello, my name is Mederic and this is a message from Med. In the previous video, Med and I discussed the 9th chapter of 2 Samuel. David found and blessed Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son. He returned to Mephibosheth all that belonged to Saul, his grandfather, and he was a special guest at David's house for the remainder of his days. In this video, David tries to maintain the peace between the Israelites and the Ammonites. Will they accept David's request, or will David remain at war with his neighbors?
The king of the Ammonites passed away and was succeeded by his son Hanun. David wanted to make a peace treaty with him. I will deal loyally with Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father dealt loyally with me. It's possible that this was the same Nahash that had terrorized Jabesh Gilead but was then defeated by Saul. This was his first victory after being anointed as king. David and Nahash probably became friends when David was fleeing from Saul. David sent ambassadors to console Hanun, but his princes said, "Do you think because David has sent comforters to you that he is honoring your father? Has not David sent his servants to you to search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it?" Hanun then arrested the messengers, shaved off half the beard of each, and cut off their garments at their hips, and sent them away. When David found out what had happened, he told the men to stay in Jericho until their beards had grown. At this point in time in this part of the world, the beard was considered a man's greatest ornament, so cutting off one half was the greatest insult that could be given, on top of the shame they experienced having to travel with their clothes torn at the hips. The Ammonites realized that they had essentially started a war against Israel, so they hired 33,000 Syrian soldiers. The Ammonites prepared their forces at the entrance of the gates to their city, and the Syrians set up in the open country. David then sent Joab with the host of the mighty men. Many of these men were those that were in distress, in debt, or discontented and joined David when he was on the run from Saul. When Joab saw that he was surrounded, he selected his best soldiers to fight against the Syrians, and put Abishai in charge of the remaining soldiers to fight against the Ammonites. "If the Syrians are too strong for me, then you shall help me. But if the Ammonites are too strong for you, then I will come and help you. Be of good courage, and let us be courageous for our people, and for the cities of our God, and may the Lord do what seems good to him." When Joab and his company drew near to battle against the Syrians, they fled. And when the Ammonites saw that the Syrians had fled, they also fled before Abishai and entered the city. It seems like the battle ended before it even started. Joab then returned to Israel without having done any damage to their army as he had done with the Philistines, the Moabites, and the Syrians. Hopefully this will not cause problems in the future. The Syrians regrouped and sent for their compatriots that were on the other side of the Euphrates River. David heard of this and went to meet the Syrians with the Israelite army. David defeated the Syrians, killing the men of 700 chariots and 40,000 horsemen along with their general. When the kings that allied themselves with Hadad-ezer saw how David defeated the Syrians, they made peace with Israel and became subject to them. Furthermore, the Syrians were afraid to save the Ammonites anymore.
King Solomon wrote the following in the book of Ecclesiastes: "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up." In this story, we can compare the Israelites and the Ammonites. Joab, the Israelite general, told Abishai, "If the Syrians are too strong for me, then you shall help me. But if the Ammonites are too strong for you, then I will come and help you." In other words, Joab and Abishai would watch out for each other. This was not the case with the Ammonites. The Syrians had no incentive to help the Ammonites, so they fled as soon as Joab drew near to battle against them. Consequently, the Ammonites retreated within the city walls. Woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. When Peter wrote to the church and taught about how to be good stewards of God's grace, he said, "Be self-controlled and sober-minded. Keep loving one another earnestly. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another. Whoever serves, serve as one who serves by the strength that God supplies, so that in everything God may be glorified through Jesus Christ. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever." Joab and the host of the mighty men felt a great love for Israel. Therefore, they had the courage to fight despite being surrounded. They recognized that all of Israel would suffer if they were defeated. As a result, they served the people according to the gifts they had. As we have seen, David's mighty men consisted of extraordinary warriors, and they demonstrated their abilities on that day. Peter stressed the importance of doing things by the strength that God supplies so that he may be glorified. Joab recognized that he would only be successful if it was the Lord's will. By ceding the control to God, he opened the door so that God would give him the victory. Furthermore, Joab needed a miracle since he was indeed surrounded, and God provided the miracle. If you are in a tight spot, the best thing is to seek help, preferably from someone that has a healthy relationship with God. And together you will use your God-given gifts to find a solution. Moreover, God will provide support every step of the way. Thank you. God bless.